Niantic launched Pokémon Go in July 6, 2016.
You drive somewhere and you'd see dozens, maybe even hundreds of people walking, all looking down at their phones, no awareness of anything else but the game. There would be something rare like a Snorlax that would spawn and everyone would show up at the same spot and try to catch it.
During its month of release, the mobile app would reach an estimated 232 million global users and would earn an estimated over $1 billion in revenue in 2016 alone, according to player count and revenue estimates sourced from Business of Apps and other industry reports. This article is linked in the description and is my resource for all other player count stats referenced in this video.
Pretty much everyone that I knew at work, at school, they were all playing it. I guess everyone else was playing the game, so I didn't want to be like everyone else. I wanted to be edgy or something. So I held off for 2 weeks and then I was like, hey, what if we downloaded this app? I'd played Pokemon games since they were out on the Game Boy Color. I think that Pokemon Crystal was my first game. I was taking a class at community college that summer. So me and this other guy, after class, we walked around the community college campus and played, and there were some Pokestops and some Pokemon. It wasn't as good as a lot of schools, but it was reasonable to play at. Also, it was genuinely fun to go out and have a reason to go places and walk around.
In October 2016, the Halloween event would occur.
Trick or treat!
It gave players double candies for catching, hatching, and transferring Pokemon, and lower buddy walking distance for getting candies. It would also increase spawn rates for Drowsy, Cubone, Zubat, and the only ghost line in Generation 1, the Ghastly line. Holiday and seasonal events have since remained a feature of the game.
I was now on a 4-year college campus going to school, and there was still a good amount of players, but I noticed over the course of that fall semester fewer and fewer people were playing the game because I guess they just got tired of it. And to be fair, it was kind of repetitive. The novelty wore off quickly. A lot of the changes that they would later make would improve the enjoyment of the game. A lot of those changes were pretty late when a lot of people had already stopped playing the game.
In December 2016, the game would release 7 Generation 2 baby Pokemon, hinting at the soon-to-be-released Generation 2. Despite the release of Generation 2 in early 2017, the app would drop to 65 million monthly global users, down from its 2016 peak of 232 million users.
It was early 2017, apparently, when Generation 2 was added to the game, which did make it a lot more fun. Now you weren't catching the same, Rattatas and Pidgeys that you'd been catching. There were Centrets and things to catch. Over the years, you had other generations being added gradually.
In June 2017, a new update would include a reworking of the gyms and the addition of raids.
One of the best changes was when they restructured the gyms, because it used to be there would be a few free spots whenever your team would take over the gym. After that, you would have to fight the Pokemon that were placed in the gym to increase the level. Every time you defeated a Pokemon, it would add points to the gym, and then there would be spots that would open up. That could take several minutes just to add one level, and the frustrating thing was, I remember one time I trained and increased the gym level by 1, and then someone that must have been driving or walking by took that spot. I tried it again. I trained the gym up another level, which took another several minutes. Someone else went by and took the spot, so then I just gave up. The restructuring of the gym, there were now only 6 spots available. You didn't have to train the gym anymore for it to add levels, and they weren't ordered by CP anymore. They were ordered by the time or day when they were put into the gym. So the first person to get knocked out would be the first person to put a Pokemon in the gym. the CPs of the Pokemon would gradually drop over time, so now it was easier to take over a gym, so a lot of the high-level players couldn't put their Dragonites and their Snorlaxes in the gym anymore, and there would be nothing that the low-level players could do because they couldn't defeat those Pokemon. And early on, a gym would get to like level 10, and sometimes it wouldn't turn over for weeks. I think there was one that didn't even turn over for months. And it was the same people in the gym, same Pokemon. So a lot of those changes were good. You also had the addition of the raids. The raids were a good opportunity to find Pokemon that you couldn't always encounter, and they generally gave you pretty good IVs on them too. I remember one time, I've never been on Discord, but a lot of the people that I knew in real life, they kept up with like the Discord community in the area, and we showed up to a Tyranitar raid. I mean, there were dozens of people started in different groups, and in our group we had like 18 or 20 people, and it was completely excessive because later you could pretty easily win a Tyranitar raid with 2 or 3 people with like Machamps, so you didn't really need that kind of people. For a lot of the legendary raids you did, but I wasn't seriously into it. But I would try to do a raid every day. I would go to the library to do homework, and there was a gym right within reach, so I would just bring my phone and then work on it, and a lot of the time a raid would pop up and I'd do it. I didn't even care. I was doing like 1 and 2 star raids a lot of the time. If I was lucky, I'd get like a 3. I even used an old phone that I downloaded the app on, and I just connected the university's Wi-Fi, so I would have 2 phones that I could fight the raid bosses with, so it made it a lot easier.
During the Halloween event of 2017, some of the spooky Pokemon from Generation 3 would be added to the game. Then, waves of Generation 3 Pokemon would be added to the game in December and then February. In December of 2017, the weather effect would be added, allowing high-level players to catch up to level 35 Pokemon in the wild and boosting attack types depending on conditions. 2018 saw the addition of field and special research, monthly community days, and friendship and trading. The monthly player base would more than double what it was in 2017, likely due to these new features.
They also added the community days. These were pretty nice because you would get rare Pokemon and you'd get moves that you normally wouldn't get, as well as some shinies, which was nice, but it was like a lot of them you just couldn't afford to miss, or else you'd fall behind.
In 2019, Generation 4 would gradually be added. PvP battles would be introduced, and Team Rocket battles would be added. Generation 5 would be added in late 2019. Due to lockdowns in 2020, remote raid passes would be added. Generation 6 and some Galarian forms would be released in late 2020. Starting in 2021 and 2022, the game would begin following seasons, which has continued until this day. Generation 7 would be released in 2022. Generation 8 would be released in 2024. Generations 8 and 9 would continue to be released in 2025 and 2026. Added in the Max Out season on September 4, 2024. Power spots are special rotating locations on the map where you can do max battles, Dynamax/Gigantamax Battles, and collect a resource called Max Particles, like a temporary mix between Pokestops and raid gyms. They can also spawn special wild encounters tied to that system. I have no idea how these work and have yet to use them, so I had to look this up for the video.
I really stopped playing after about 2019. 2019 was really the last year that I was playing a lot of it. It just kind of started to feel like a job, because to keep up with a lot of the levels that people were at, you had to go out every day and you had to do at least a raid battle. You had to catch a lot of Pokemon, level up, get the friendship experience points, use lucky eggs and evolve a bunch of Pokemon in a row. you had to do a lot of that kind of stuff to keep up with a lot of the levels. So I think I got to level 42 or 43 or so. And now they've added a bunch more levels, so I'm actually level 60. I think it's nice that there's more levels because I believe level 37 used to be halfway to level 40. So having the more frequent level ups kind of gives people more goals to achieve. So that kind of keeps you engaged in the game. I'll show a lot of my stats and a lot of my key catches. It looks like I was playing a little bit in 2022 and 2023. I was having storage issues on my old phone. The question would be for the viewers, when did you start playing the game? Did you start playing back when it was released, and then did you stop playing it for a while? Did you keep playing the game? Do you still play the game now? Let me know. Goodbye.